Earning a high income and living in a premier zip code suggests you have arrived, but for many families in elite legacy suburbs, that achievement often comes with a sense of being financially trapped. Birmingham, Michigan represents the pinnacle of Detroit's suburban prestige. However, residents here face a persistent squeeze from elevated living costs and property tax assessments that continue to climb. These neighborhoods are defined by their historic architecture and deeply established community networks, but maintaining that environment requires significant capital to cover the massive overhead. When annual property taxes hit $12,000 to $18,000, homeowners reach a breaking point. They fear losing elite schools, staying anchored to high tax districts. Suburban Arbitrage offers a way out, using geographic shifts to reset capital baselines, leveraging Indiana's 2.95% income tax and $5,500 property taxes. Recent census and migration data indicate that families are increasingly choosing Fishers, Indiana as the direct lifestyle replacement for Birmingham. We will run a head-to-head mathematical showdown between these two cities to determine if the logistical effort of a cross-state move yields a sufficient financial return. The data suggests that staying in a high-tax legacy suburb is an optional luxury rather than a requirement for elite educational and lifestyle outcomes. This ledger compares a premium home in Birmingham to an equivalent property in the Fishers market. The process starts by liquidating an $850,000 legacy asset in Michigan, which frees up the capital currently locked in the home's equity. Those funds can then be used to acquire a modern 4,300 square foot residence in Fishers for approximately $700,000. This geographical shift allows a family to immediately pocket between $100,000 and $300,000 in raw equity. The recurring savings are substantial. A Birmingham home carries property taxes up to $18,000, while the Fishers equivalent costs roughly $5,500. Retaining that extra $6,000 to $12,000 yearly has a compounding effect. Over a decade, property tax savings alone exceed $100,000 in additional wealth. General costs of living, including insurance and utilities, are 14 to 18% lower in Indiana, alongside a flat state income tax rate of 2.95%. Realizing these gains requires navigating a highly competitive inbound market. The best inventory in Fishers is often secured through off-market specialists rather than public listings. The logistical friction of a move is offset by the volume of freed capital, creating a self-funding mechanism for college savings or retirement accounts. Parents often worry that lower housing costs indicate a drop in public school quality. A direct comparison between the two districts allows us to evaluate the reality of educational parity. Birmingham schools offer a history of academic rigor and established social networks that have served generations of families. Hamilton Southeastern consistently ranks among Indiana's elite districts, matching Birmingham's outcomes in academic performance and college placement. As a growing district, Fishers provides access to newer infrastructure, including heavily funded arts programs and championship-level athletic facilities. Moving here means trading the historic lineage of a Detroit suburb for elite, modern educational facilities at a much lower entry price. The Fishers school system demonstrates families do not need to pay a high property tax penalty to secure top-tier public education for their children. The daily experience of living in Fishers trades the century-old charm of Oakland County for master-planned efficiency. The local amenity infrastructure is designed around specific family priorities. For families involved in youth athletics, the 400-acre Grand Park Sports Campus centralizes recreation with dozens of professional-grade fields. The city also features hundreds of acres of maintained parks and integrated trails that connect various residential areas. Neighborhood design emphasizes walkability and low crime rates, providing stroller-friendly access to local dining and retail hubs. When big city amenities are required, the metropolitan center of Indianapolis is accessible within a 20 to 30-minute drive. This master-planned approach replaces historical nostalgia with a modern environment built specifically to support family infrastructure. Relocating to Fishers provides a strategic financial and infrastructural upgrade that functions as a lateral lifestyle move. You can evaluate your own fit for this move by plotting your goals on the relocator matrix. Families who are anchored to a localized Detroit network or who prioritize century-old architecture should remain in Birmingham and continue to pay the associated taxes. The top left quadrant is the Fisher's target zone, occupied by families seeking financial optimization. These families choose to trade historical prestige for superior financial velocity and modern facilities. The primary risk to this strategy lies in the friction of the highly competitive Fisher's housing market. Success in this move often requires working with off-market specialists who can synchronize the sale of a Michigan asset with an unlisted Indiana acquisition. For the family willing to execute the logistics, Fisher's provides a way to unlock substantial equity and lower annual overhead while maintaining a premium standard of living.